So what we want to do today is show you what a real, interactive, integrated, living, breathing financial plan is and how it's supposed to work. We use the words a lot. All advice is not created equal, and it's not. And all financial plans are not created equal. So the fact of the matter is, right now, you probably do not have a plan. You have maybe some investments and maybe, if you're lucky, an investment strategy, but we're going to show you how you can have a plan. So here we go. With no further ado, we are diving in to a financial plan. This is a client, a sample of ours. So, every plan starts with gathering information, understanding as you see me clicking through these different sections, clients' net worth and investors, your net worth. You need to know what it is, where every dollar is. We need to know what all the income sources are. We need to know what expenses you plan to have and have today. We also need to understand taxes. We need to understand our feelings about inflation. So all kinds of different things in just the build out. And I'm going to jump because we're keeping this moving. So we go into what we call the decision center. And now we're sitting here with this client. In this particular situation, we're looking at the portfolio value over their life. So we can see that starting here in 2026, they have a lot of money, things are good, and that money continues to grow over their life. And that's wonderful. Peace of mind, okay, we've got a portfolio value that's growing. But Alex, maybe jump in and like give an example of what are some of the questions a client would ask. Here we stress test it and they have 100% success ratio in this plan.
Well, sometimes too, people look at that big number at the bottom middle, 32.7 million, say, okay, I've got $5.6 million today. You're telling them I'm going to have $32 million when I die at age 95, I think is what this one probably is set up to be, which is a pretty common like life expectancy number that we put in there as assumption. It seems abstract. It seems like, yeah, sure, man. Like I'm just trying to make sure I can retire, or like I'm worried about cash flow today. Like walk me through how these assumptions really work. And what's funny is but sometimes I get to this point in a conversation with a client and they've been a client for many years. And they get to this screen and they're like, all right, back up to the beginning. I don't believe it. And I'm like, this is too good to be true. I'm like, no, really, like we've done such a good job together planning for these events, planning for your whole lifetime. You can be free. And that's your point, Jason, is that, if you do the time and invest the time up front into getting, and this is going to sound the boring part, but it's important to do the job correctly up front to build this plan with details, data, source, support forms, like make sure that you're being honest with yourself about expenses. That's always a fun part of the plan, but it's a very important lever within the plan. And over time, not that much time, but within a year, right? We get this dialed for every single client of becoming a client within a year.
Yep.
This chart becomes like sort of just like a relief to people. Like, okay, just show me that I've not only did my bar chart go up, but also what does it mean when we stress test it, which we'll get to in a moment here. But then they start to really question it when market events happen, which haven't happened for a few years now. It's been almost 4 years since we had a real market event with 2022.
And it was short at that. It was very short.
Yeah, it was, well, not for bonds, but I think that's the point though, is that when you do have major market events or major life events that have you freaked out for good reason, you come back to this plan as your guiding force back to peace and freedom and opportunity.